Hi everyone, my name is Abbas Akisoya and I'm the Executive Director of Sales and Business Development at Zedcrest Wealth. We've created this meeting as part of our commitment to making financial literacy simpler and interesting. Therefore, we will discuss an essential part of our lives, our finances. These meetups will happen periodically, focusing on practical knowledge and insight to improve our financial well-being. Welcome to Zedcrest Digital Wealth Club.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another meeting of our Digital Wealth Club here at Zedcrest Wealth. It's going to be a very, very exciting session, as you all know, for those that were in the first meeting where we had a recap of the first half of the year, looking at Q1 and Q2 figures, and we talked about how we can manage our finances and, how we see the rest of the year and what we think will be the best things to do in terms of navigating the financial landscape and all. And, I can see some people saying welcome in the chat and everything. I think this is going to be a very, very exciting session because there are prizes to be won, like we had in the last session also. We're going to talk and try to dissect events in Q3. That's the third quarter of the year, July, August, and September. And we'll also give our outlook for October, which we're currently in, November and December. So this is going to be a very, very interesting session, as always, and I look forward to getting questions at the end and, just interacting and answering questions from those in the chat. Okay. So let's start with our mission and vision. So here at Zedcrest Wealth, our vision is to be the preeminent asset manager of choice in Africa by simplifying wealth from creation to distribution for all. Our mission is demystifying wealth creation by showing our clients where the opportunities are using superior insights and technology. Our values, the acronym STRIPE make our values here at Zedcrest, right? And what this means is social responsibility, which is the S, trust, T, resilience, which is R, innovation, which is the I, professionalism, and last but not the least, excellence. So like I said, this is majorly going to be a review of the happenings in Q3 and an outlook for Q4. In between, before we give our outlook, we will have like a period for games, where you can win prizes and all of that. And hopefully, if you get to win any prize that is a cash reward, you also have some advice that will tell you how you can possibly navigate the financial environment going into the latter part of the year. So what major events did we see in Q3, right? Bringing it our focus to the domestic scene. So events in Q3, we got the Q2 2024 GDP, and it printed at a higher rate than Q1 2024. So as of Q2, we saw our GDP in Nigeria expand by 3.19% year on year versus a 2.98% expansion in Q1. So that just tells you that as of Q2, we saw a higher rate of GDP growth as against what we saw in Q1 versus the same time period in 2023. And the large driver for the expansion in GDP was due to the low base effect of the oil and gas sector as to a year ago, whereby we were producing around 1.2 million barrels of oil per day as against Q2 2024, where our oil production increased to 1.41 million barrels per day, and that really supported our GDP growth. We also saw a downward trend in inflation. I know we've been talking about this in Nigeria a lot, right? As to the rate of how much we're paying for a bag of rice and the rate at which these prices are increasing. And we had seen this for a very, very long period of time, over a year. And, inflation peaked just as Q2 came to an end, right, at 34.19%. That's your headline inflation. And so far from then, in Q2, we've seen a downward trend in inflation where the rate at which prices have started to increase is now becoming slower. So inflation currently sits at 32.7%, and that is for September. And what this essentially means is that the rate at which prices have moved from a year ago in September is 32.7%. So it does not mean, because I know some people normally get like, if inflation is going down, does that mean that the prices of food and goods and services will go down? That's not what it means. It just means that the rate at which prices are increasing has started to slow down. So as of June, it's peaked at 34.19%. But now we're seeing that the rate at which prices of goods and services are increasing has sort of slowed down to 32.7%. Then also we've seen, as is typically observed in periods of high inflation, right? The central bank tends to increase interest rates to combat inflation. So as of a whole in Q3, we saw the central bank hike inflation by a combined 100 basis points. And for those who are not really familiar with the financial jargon, 100 basis points just means 1%. That's the exact meaning. There's no two ways about it. It's just 100 basis points, 1%. So we saw the CBN increase interest rates by 100 basis points, taking our interest rates to as high as 27.25%. Like I said, to combat high inflation, and interest rates currently sit at this 27.25%. Then also in Q3, we saw new equity listings on the NGX, and most recent NGX listing that we've seen so far is the listing of Aradel, right? And this has really contributed a lot to, in terms of market cap, bringing our market cap on the NGX to nearly 60 trillion naira altogether. And also, if you're looking at the NGX, which is the Nigerian exchange, we have seen a year-to-date gain of over 30%. So if you had invested in an ETF that tracked the NGX all-share index, you would have made a gain of over 30% so far this year. Then we've also seen the naira depreciate by over 75% against the dollar so far. This is at the official market, which is the NAFEM window. And essentially, we saw the naira to the dollar close around 1,630 naira yesterday at the official market. And this is coming off the back of close of December 31st, 2023, when we see the dollar trade at just roughly around 900 naira to the dollar levels. So now taking our gaze outside of the domestic scene and looking at what really occurred, in the global markets, in developed economies and the likes. So for those who were in our first review, we had talked about how inflation had come down in some developed economies, or has started to show disinflationary trend, meaning that the rate of inflation in some other economies has started to slow down. And we had seen major central banks like the European Central Bank, the Bank of Canada, and the likes cut interest rates. And we saw that also continue into Q3 as the European Central Bank and Bank of Canada continued cutting rates as Q3 came to be. Then we also saw the Bank of England and the US Federal Reserve begin their own rate cutting cycle. So they joined this class of central bankers that essentially started cutting rates due to the fact that we have seen inflation also sort of come down in these economies. So just to give context, if you look at the top left of the screen, right, you see a chart of inflation, which is the yellow line in the US, and you see a chart of the Fed funds rate, which is essentially the interest rates over there in the US, right? And we're seeing that inflation has actually shown this downward trend so far. Inflation in the US currently sits at 2.4%, and the government's target is for a 2.2% inflation. I'm sorry, a 2% inflation target. And due to the fact that we've seen this easing in inflation figures, the central bank has actually taken steps to start, they can start easing interest rates instead of stifling the economy by so much, given the fact that we've seen progress in bringing down inflation. Then also taking our view to the equity markets, right? We've seen, if you look to the bottom left of the screen, you see year-to-date performances of the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index, the S&P 500 Index, and the Nasdaq Composite Index. And you will see that they have posted year-to-date performances of 12% to as high as 25.74 percent. And just as like we've seen in the last 2 years, this rally or this sentiment in the US equity market has largely been driven by the tech sector, which is AI. There has been a lot of AI. There has been a lot of AI driven enthusiasm, which has fueled a rally in the US equity market. I'm sure, I'm sure we all have come across the name Nvidia, come across the name Meta, to come across the names of all these giants that really incorporates AI. Google's version of AI's of their own AI platform, Gemini, and the likes. So, and this has really fueled a rally in the US equity market, and as we're seeing, the S&P 500 has and the Nasdaq have returned over 20%, which is a very, very good return for the stock markets. So yes, it's time for our break. I'll be handing over to my colleague Kishi, who is going to usher us into a period of, we're going to play some games, there'll be prizes to be won, and we will continue with our outlook for the rest of the year and how you can also strategize and, shift your portfolios to make sure your money is being taken care of properly.
So, good afternoon, everybody. What a fantastic presentation by Samuel. This is just a little break time just for us to gather in some of the information Samuel has dispensed onto all of us, just for us to really understand and digest what's going on. And at the same time, let us practice a bit. So, yeah, we're going to play the favorite thing I like, or my best thing about the Zedcrest Wealth application. We're here to play a tournament. So, I'm going to be sharing my screen just for us to look through what the tournament is all about. And yeah, so please just confirm if you can share if you can see my screen. So for us to join the tournament, it's going to begin by 3:22. So in the next 4 minutes we can begin. So I would assume not all of us here know how to get to where to find the tournament on Zedcrest World Cup. For anybody that is new here and got shared to join Digital Wealth Meetup Club, so all you have to do is to download the Zedcrest World app if you don't have it already. But if you do have it, please let's log into our Zedcrest World app. Click on the coins bar, takes you to the game center. Click on tournaments, click on quickfire quiz, and the tournament digital. So just right there, would implore everybody to join the waitlist, and then our winners would go home with 15,000 naira child voucher. I know all of us know how we get Z coins into vouchers on the Zedcrest Wealth application. So, oh yeah, that's true. Welcome, wonderful, my wonderful. We know you very well over here. You're a great player of the Zedcrest Wealth tournament. It's great to see you here and partake in all of these little things that we do. So, is anybody having any issues or anybody having any questions? Meanwhile, this thing is going up that you can ask us about, just for us to get to know each other a bit. You can unmute your mic and ask any questions if you do have. Seems like nobody has a question. Any feedback, any information, anything you'd like us to know? This tournament is going to start in 2 minutes, so wait for that. Any questions, anybody? All right, we have a lot of people on this call, and yeah, we've seen 11 of them already on the wait list about to begin the tournament. I wonder who is going to be our winner. There's some great players here already that I can see on the player list. There's some very, very fantastic players here. I wonder who is going to win this time around. We don't have a Money Titan here on the list. Wow, this is going to be very, very fantastic. Very, very fantastic. Okay, our tournament is going to start in less than a minute, I guess. Yes, in the next 30 seconds. Let's all go there and may the best winner win. And we are live. Good luck to everybody. And after the tournament, we'll resume our presentation and our meetup club. And then at the end, we'll entertain any questions anybody might have or any other feedback. So as just the caption goes, time for us to earn while learning. Good luck, everybody. Let's have a nice day ahead. So who's done? What's completed? Or how many points do you think you would score at the end of this? Oh, Joseph, great stuff. Oh, my camera is not on. Apologies for that. Yeah. So who else is done? What do you think you might score? What do you think you get? Do you think you will win, Joseph? You can just clap if you believe you will win. Not even believe. I think we might win. I might go home with 15,000 naira voucher. Chowding. Okay, the tournament is going to end in less than a minute, and then we'll find out our winners. Who else is done? Anybody having any issues or any feedback? Yeah, so just like 30 seconds left or 40 seconds left, and then Samuel can come back and continue his presentation. So let's find out our winner for the day. In about 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds, the tournament should be over. Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen for us to see who our winners are for today. a second. So the tournament should have ended right about now. And let's find out who are winners. So congratulations to Faye, Momo, and Man Like Wonderful. They are winners for today's Zedcrest Digital Wealth Club tournament. So at the end of the tournament, at the end of the presentation, you get your Z coins in which you can change in the gift shop for Uber, Child Deck, or Bold vouchers. Thank you very much. Samuel, you can continue the presentation now.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was fun. I would have. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Well, that was fun. I mean, we were able to still learn about like financial literacy while still making, some extra cash on the side that we can use for vouchers and things like that. But now let's even talk about the fact that okay, if we had um won, let's say, some money and we were like, okay, you want to think of how to even invest this money going into the latter part of the year, what should you be doing, right? And that's what we're going to do or cover in our Q4 outlook. So, I mean, for one thing, I think one thing that has really stood out this year is the trajectory of the currency. So that's the naira to dollar. We keep on talking about it. It's like it's like a it's like a topic that never ever seems to like end, and it's always like tip of our tongue and everything. So what do we see for the dollar, right? What do we think? What do we see for the exchange rate? I remember we had talked about how we've seen the currency depreciate by over 75% so far this year, and um, it might seem like the pressures on the naira might continue to increase at the same pace. But in all honesty, like looking at Q4, we anticipate modest pressures on the naira. So while there will still be pressure on the naira, what has actually changed is that there has actually been an increased supply and intervention from the CBN. So recently, like within the past 2 months or so, we've seen the CBN actually even sell dollars to banks at discounted rates. So what I mean by at discounted rates is that let's say dollar at the official market is currently trading at 1,650 naira to the dollar. The CBN could sell or normally would sell through a retail Dutch auction system, sell dollars to the banks whereby they can bid and they can sell dollars to the bank at discounted rates at maybe around 1,600 levels or 1,590 levels safe, even though the dollar is currently trading at the official market at 1,650. And the honest truth is that this has really been a method that they've implemented to try and force the exchange rates down. So force down or try to alleviate pressures on the currency. Another sign of hope that we are seeing for the currency is that we have also seen growth in our external reserves. So if you look at the bottom left of your screen, that just shows the trajectory of our external reserves so far this year. And we can see that it's going all the way up. I mean, our external reserves are currently at all-time highs this year, at $39 billion, over $39 billion, right? And we're also seeing that the commencement, or we also expect that the commencement of the operations by Dangote refinery is expected to reduce FX demand related to refined crude imports. And we all know that Dangote's refinery has come online and he has started refining crude and supplying to the markets. And ultimately, it was not too long ago that he, even in an interview, said that he sees that around 40% of the pressures on the currency is usually from the fact that oil marketers and the imports refined crude. I know when you're importing refined crude, you necessarily have to pay in dollars. But now with the agreement that has been struck in the market, we see that Dangote can now sell to marketers in naira, and that should help alleviate some of the pressures on the currency. So it's looking like it's a good one. There will be modest pressures on the naira. We don't expect it to depreciate by as much as it had depreciated so far in the past month. Then also, if you're looking at the financial markets, right? If you're looking at fixed income markets, we will start with. Recently, we've seen the debt management office, which typically issues their treasury bills and bonds. They have showed reduced appetite to borrow at high costs, and also that has sort of reduced the supply of debt instruments in the market.
Okay.
Sorry, someone's mic is unmuted. Yeah. Okay. So that's essentially reduced the supply of debt instruments in the market and sort of forced yields downwards. And also another thing that we've also seen is that with the reduction in inflation, right? We talked about how inflation is currently at 2.7, and this is coming off the back of its peaking in June at 34.19. We anticipate that yields in the fixed income market will also trend downward as the year progresses, because towards December and even going into Q1 2025, we expect to see downward trajectory on headline inflation. Then also, if you're looking at, so what this essentially means, before I even move to the next point, is that if you're going to capture high yields in the fixed income market, now the time is now, because the window is starting to close, right? So it's best that you get in now and lock in high yields as high as 20% and above before yields start crashing down and you cannot get as high yields again. And also, if you're looking at the equity market, like where are the opportunities? And obviously, we see opportunities in banking. This is earnings season, and we've seen a number of banks start reporting their earnings results. We've seen Zenith Bank report profit before tax over 1 trillion naira. We've seen a lot of banks surpass their income by as high as 100% year on year, and largely based off of the fact that their net interest income has increased, given the fact that we're in this period of high interest rates. We talked about how we've seen interest rates rise in Q3 to currently 27.25%, and that has really helped the bottom line of banks. And also, we expect that this will continue to help them going forward, as we don't expect a quick cut in interest rates, and this should continue to help the banking sector, thereby helping banking stocks to post some strong numbers. Then we also see a moderation in inflation towards 30% levels. We've talked about this several times already on this call, about how we've entered this downward trajectory in terms of headline inflation. And yeah, even though there was some form of upward pressure, like in the last 2 months, due to the fact that there was an upward revision in PMS prices, and we all know how much you buy petrol at the filling station, right? And that has sort of filtered into inflation. We still expect that inflation will moderate around December and continue its trajectory towards 30% levels, largely due to the fact that of the high base effect from last year. And that should also continue to trend into 2025. Then also, if you're looking at the global environment, GDP prints, right? We expect global macroeconomic recovery, and this should lead to strong performances in foreign markets. So we've already seen some economies. I mean, the chart to the left shows for Euro area, USA, and China show some recovery in their GDP as they come off this period of strong fiscal tightening, and we're seeing that inflation is coming down in these economies, and it's really helping their GDP growth. Yesterday, the US announced GDP at 2.8%, which is relatively strong for the economy. We also saw the Euro area GDP also coming at 0.4% as against expectations. I mean, the market had expected that Euro area would expand by 0.2%, but we saw that the Euro area even doubled that, and their GDP for Q3 came in at 0.4%. So it just shows that we expect that the global macroeconomic environment is actually recovering, and we expect this to continue into 2025. And yes, now we're talking about opportunities for you, right? After we've told you all of these things, we've told you our expectations, we've told you what we see, and we are like, okay, how does this really help me? Like, what are the opportunities for me to take advantage of these opportunities? And one is to hedge against currency devaluation by investing in dollar-denominated assets. So if you want to protect the value of your currency, I mean, the dollar has been seen somewhat as a safe haven against the naira for a while, to really protect the currency against devaluation and the likes. And we still hold that view that it would be very good for you to hedge the value of your money by investing in dollar-denominated assets, right? So it's dollar-denominated stocks, dollar-denominated bonds, like the local USD bond that we saw in Nigeria, or you want to place it in fixed deposits in dollar. or invest in a dollar mutual fund, which we also have. I mean, you can access all of these asset classes via Zedcrest, right? And just find a way to really protect the value of your currency. Another thing that you could also do is take advantage of the stock market, right? For capital appreciation and dividends. We talked about how the stock market, Nigerian stock market, has returned over 30%. That's a good return. And you will still get your dividends. This is just based on your capital. On capital, it has returned over 30%. On if you add dividends to that, it's more than that. So you can take advantage of that by protecting your, instead of just having your money in cash and it's not getting anything, you can actually invest this money in the stock market, make some money off of that money, getting your money to work for you. Then my third, which is my own personal favorite, right? Because I know that this is not something that you can easily find in the markets, is actually invest in treasury bills and earn as high as 36% annualized yield. And if you think of what we've been talking about so far, inflation, and you want to make a real return on your money, real return on your money means that, okay, what have I actually made on top of the inflation figure? What is the real money that I've made, even though inflation has sort of eroded some part of my cash? And I mean, this is specifically exclusive to Zedcrest. This is specifically exclusive to Zedcrest Wealth, because it's a special promo Nigerian treasury bills that we're offering on the app. And you can invest in the treasury bill and earn an annualized yield as high as 36%, which I can tell you for a fact you cannot get anywhere else, especially with a risk-free asset such as the treasury bill. And moving on to the fourth opportunity, you can achieve your financial goals with a target savings plan, right? So that's also another one that is also very good. You can save your money, get a higher interest rate than what your bank would typically give you with a target savings plan, which you can also take advantage of on the Zedcrest Wealth app. Then last but not least, right? If none of these really works for you, you could also consult your investment manager, right? Find a bespoke investment management portfolio for you, and they can curate, talk to you, get to know what your risk appetite is and all of that, and just create a portfolio for you based on how much risk you want to take and what your goals are for returns. So I mean, there are a lot of opportunities that can be taken advantage of. If none of this works for you, you can always reach out to us. We would curate something for you based on your risk appetite and your financial goals. And yes, that has brought us to the end of our presentation. I would love to know if there are any questions, surrounding the market, surrounding outlooks, our outlook, surrounding what you think you want to do, but you're not really sure about, how do I invest my money? I'm hearing about this investment. Should I do this? It's also a very good platform to ask that, and you can answer that at this session. Are there any questions? I think you can type in the chat and you can take that. Yeah. Yes. So I'm going to invite Ade to talk about the Zedcrest Wealth Academy, which is a special package that we have that is coming soon.
Okay, hi everyone. Good afternoon. I hope we've had a fantastic session. I believe someone has been very explicit in letting us know what is available for us, depending on our risk appetite. Just before I actually go into this sort of like limited edition news. So we've been working very hard. By the way, my name is Ade Jinodu. Just to confirm again, and I work with the product and marketing team at Zedcrest Wealth. We've been working very hard behind the scenes, right, to develop something that we think would enable us to become more financially literate and would help us to learn more about money and on the go be able to make better investment choices. But like we all know, we've tried to gamify financial literacy as much as possible. And we have created this new feature, and we want to showcase that to you, our special guest, for the first time ever, before it then becomes released. But before I do go into the presentation, I'd just like to to mention. First, thank you all for making out time to join this session. I hope it was helpful. And also, reiterate the points that Samuel made about our promo T-bills. We had 50 slots open just to test the market, and we are left with just four. I mean, it's no surprise because we are offering a 6% yield in 8 months for a special promo T-bill. So if you do want to access that on the application, you can go to the Zedcrest application and tap on the Treasury Bills card, and you would see the promo T-bill offer. So whilst I'm done with that, also if you do have any questions, please do drop it in the comments. I think there's a question now. Okay, Samuel, please, would you mind answering this question just before I proceed?
Okay, yes. So the question I'm seeing here is, thank for the insightful session, Samuel. Here's my question. How can we invest in US index funds from Nigeria? That's a very, very good one. I like the question that you posed to us. So really how you can invest in US index funds is really not hard. So far, we've been able to democratize investments, right? And you can also access US stocks through our trading house at Zedcrest Global Markets, right? We have traders here who can give you that offerings on products. And also, even beyond, I feel like I need to add, also, even beyond index funds, another opportunity that you can often take advantage of is the dollar mutual fund, right? And that's a very, very good one for capital appreciation because so far it has a year-to-date of over 11%, going for an annualized return of around 14%, which is actually not bad for an investment that is deemed really risk-free and safe. Because if you don't invest in risky assets within that fund, you invest in safe assets like Euro bonds and fixed deposits, and these are really safe instruments. So it's a really good one to take advantage of. For the US stocks, you can reach us out at Zedcrest Global Markets and we can create an account for you. Or we could also easily access the dollar mutual fund products via the Zedcrest Wealth app. I think that's really how to go about that.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Samuel. Yeah, no problem. You still have a couple more questions, but I think I can answer them. So even you guys, please continue dropping the questions if you do have any. For Joy, yes, the meeting is recorded at the end of every Digital Wealth Meetup. We post it on YouTube, where you can watch the whole session again and not miss anything that has been said from our research and portfolio team. For Sam, yes, for treasury bills, it's not high risk. So what we do essentially is we do offer the existing rates. So if you go to the application currently, you can access that on Play Store and App Store. If you go to your Play Store or App Store and search for Zedcrest World, you'll be able to find our application. And on the application, you have the option to invest in treasury bills and other financial assets. So speaking to treasury bills in specifics, we offer access to bills at the rates that's offered by the government. I believe a couple of the stop rates at the moment, the highest stop rate for the 361 day T-bill is about 26, if I'm not mistaken. Samuel, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so the latest stop rate at the auction is actually at 20.65 at the last treasury bill auction, but you're not that far.
Okay. So yes, it's at 20.65. So what we did is we created a special promo where we rate matching what the government is offering, right? So we are essentially giving an extra 50% on top of that yield rate. So that is what you are able to see why we offer it at 6% promo T-bill per se. I don't know if that answers your question, Sam. You can give me a thumbs up. or you can type if that works. Fantastic. Do we have any other questions before I proceed? Um, Welcome you guys into, for the first time ever, get access to see what it is that we've been working on. Samuel, I think you have one more question, so I'll just let you take that on before I proceed with my presentation.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So how can you please explain a bit on the Zedcrest money market fund? That's a nice question, Andy. Okay, so the objective of that particular fund, I'm going to describe what we do and the objective of that fund. So essentially, what the fund does is to give you is an actively managed fund that aims to give you, or that aims to seek alpha, that's generating the best returns that you can get in the market, whilst also helping you in terms of income, getting steady income from a mutual fund product. So what this fund does is that if you invest money, right, we pull money from investors into the mutual aspect of the fund, and we deploy this capital into a series of, or a range of SEC approved asset classes, right? So that's SEC is essentially the regulatory body for investment houses. SEC approved asset classes that ranges from treasury bills to fixed deposits to commercial papers to call deposits and the like. So these are deemed risk averse, right? The Zedcrest money market fund, and invest in money market instruments, which is typically instruments that have a maturity within a year. So that's from 91 days to 364 days, right? And what this aims to do is to give you a return, and it tends to mirror the yields that you get at the secondary market. So just to give you an example of this, right? At the start of the year, the weighted average yield on our money market fund was just roughly a little bit over 10%, and as of today, is currently over 22%, right? And this has mirrored the trajectory of interest rates and the likes. And at the end of every quarter, right? At the end of every quarter, you get your income accrued for that quarter. So if you had invested at December 31st, you would get your interest for January, February, March paid the first day of the next month. So that's essentially April 1st. And that's how we pay you your income or your accrued interest quarterly. And essentially, the yield changes based on the assets that we buy. So if we buy a high yielding treasury bill, you tend to see that in reflect in the mutual fund product. Also, just to add on that, and to toot our own horn, essentially, we have the highest yielding money market fund products in the industry. You can check this on FMAN's website, that's the Fund Managers Association of Nigeria's website, where you see the Zedcrest money market funds instruments, a product there with the highest yielding, the highest way, essentially, that's weighted average yield. I hope I've answered that question. If I haven't, you can tell me that. But essentially, that's what the fund is doing. Is really for getting steady income. And okay, thank you for getting steady income and making your money work for you while you get steady income on a quarterly basis. Thank you, Adi. I think.
Fantastic. Please don't let the questions stop. If you do have more questions, please drop them. Sam, yes, I've typed a response to your question. We don't currently offer it over 200. But I mean, you can keep an eye out. In the next auction, we could also release another T-bill that offers a higher amount. But I mean, it's up to Samuel and his team to let us know if that will be feasible. But we are capping it at 200K for that particular promo TV that yields 36%. So just to run you guys quickly through what we are making behind the scenes to make it easier for you to learn about money and be able to make smarter decisions. Then what's changing in the market, what are the quick ways you can move faster with your money, and why we have created, or why we've decided to go through the angle of financial literacy. So we have created a product called the Zedcrest Wealth Academy. In essence, in short, it's gamified lessons for you to compete with other users on the application, right? So beyond the tournaments and quizzes that we play, you are able to learn on the go. and also play against other users with financial terms. So answer questions, learn more about finance, and also just, for benefit of doubt, know that for every investment decision that you make, you are very clear about the assets it is that you are investing in. So, welcome to Zedcrest Wealth Academy. It's a new product that we are going to introduce for the end of the year, where you are able to have a fun learning experience of finance and compete against other users to measure your financial literacy against theirs. So, just going to get started. So, for the most part, we understand that everyone would have different levels to their understanding of finance. So regardless of whatever level you are at, there's a level for you. There's content for you. So you might be a beginner, you might be intermediate, you might also be an advanced. So for the case of this demo, I will just be intermediate. Continue. Okay. So just to make sure that you understand or you are at the level you say we are, I would have to take this quiz. So it says, what is the full meaning of PFA? We can also type the answers to questions in the chat if we think we know it. So I believe this is Pension Funds Administrator. Yes, it's correct. Continue. What's the primary criticism of supply side theory? Let's person on the mind. So it's that. Check. Yes. Okay. What type of loan lets the lender seize the debtor's other assets? I believe that's recourse. Correct. And there's a long-term strategy. So, yes. Okay, so since I'm taking the place of Sam in this demo, says nice job, Sam. You are really an Udogo. You can begin your learning journey on the intermediate module as we already chose at the start. So for everyone, you'll be able to go through this test process and measure where you actually are, whether you're a beginner, you're an intermediate, or an advanced. So for the sake of this demo, what would happen is we'll be starting on the budgeting module. Okay. So introduction to budgeting. So for the most part, I'm just going to read through all these very quickly. So what we've done is we've simplified tough finance topics and made it very as relatable as possible. Here we're talking about budgeting, but we tell a story rather about Christmas rice and what that would look like for a consumer. So, just akin to Christmas with your siblings, you deciding not to eat yours and saving yours for another time. You're budgeting your sweets. So essentially breaks that down as much as possible. So the next thing is once you're done with the course, you're celebrated, yes, you've done this, but we don't stop there, right? We also have to measure what you've learned. And on a case-by-case basis, dependent on whatever topic it is that we are teaching you, we make sure that we provide you with quizzes to measure what you believe that you've learned. So we'll just answer these questions together again. If Ade, so this is me now, splits his money over different things and saves some, is it budgeting? I believe the consensus should be, we can all react. What do we think the answer would be? We can react. So this for yes. Do we think the answer is yes? Do we think the answer is no? Do we think the answer is maybe? Okay, so I'll go yes. Budgeting involves splitting some money over different expenses to save time. So if Ade spends 50% of his salary sends 50% of his salary to mother, girlfriend, and spend 10% at the party with his friends, saves 5%, and lives on 35%, is he being financially smart? I'm not like this in real life. So don't get the perception that this is how I spend my money. I mean, I use Zedcrest World, so I can't be like this. So, but I think for the sake of this demo, we've made the answer to this question, yes. But of course, we all know the answer should be no. So if I Google our question and choose yes, I am wrong, and he explains why you are wrong. So we just don't mark you wrong. We let you know also what the actual correct answer is. So next question based on the budgeting topic. If Ade splits his money for a car, saves the rest, is he budgeting? I mean, straightforward. So that should be yes. So correct. Budgeting involves splitting your money over different expenses to save some. So we submit. So again, this shows us what the number of coins we've earned. Again, your coins are attributed over a period of time and enables you to be able to exchange them for vouchers. Over the long run, currently we enable you to save on transport and food. And in the long run, we'll be providing a lot more companies for our users to be able to access other discounts. So currently we are able to get discounts on Chowdeck and also discounts on Uber. In the coming weeks and probably in our next meetup, which we are hoping will be physical, we'll be introducing the other businesses ranging from fitness to other transport services, even thinking about flights and the likes. You would all be able to access discounts on these. So after the lesson is complete, you go to the dashboard and it shows you your current streak, number of daily times you need to take lessons on a daily basis, number of coins you've earned in your whole period, and where you're at. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. We are excited to have you all here once again, and we're also excited to introduce this feature to you all. We can't wait for you to play with it, give us feedback, and help us iterate as we try to make Nigeria more financially literate. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions for us, please drop them. I think I see a question from Ekene Dilichuku. So currently, no. I do not want to let the cat out of the bag. But we have a fantastic feature that is akin to joint savings that would be coming soon. Come to the next digital meetup and we'll let you know. Come to the next digital meetup. It's a fantastic feature that's coming, both in dollars and in naira, collective way, and other foreign currencies that you might want to save as a team. But that would, I think I've sort of let the cat out of the bag. That's coming. The dates I cannot let you know at this point in time. For Motunrayo, looking for, thank you, Motunrayo. Femi, no, it's not. So this should be released. The academy will be released in Q4. So we are looking at making this available by December, so November, December. So we're working hard behind the scenes. It's a lot of content. We're working with a lot of financial experts as well in this space, just to make sure that we provide you with the best platform and best content for your financial literacy. Joseph, I'm currently using the Zedcrest money market to save for something. I hope it's easy to recover my principal after the required period of time I have in mind. Definitely. So, Joseph, for any product it is that you invest in, your principal is 100% guaranteed. The only products that is subject to reducing, your capital is subject to reducing is when we make our equities feature available to you. And also currently on the application, out of the CI collective investment schemes that we offer, fixed income fund and also the dollar fund, because of the assets, the underlying assets in which those funds are invested in. But for all the other products, your principal is 100% safe. Your interest also is 100% safe. What just happens is when you decide to withdraw before its predetermined maturity dates that you have set. So we are trying to help you at least make sure you meet the goal or discipline your own savings attitude. Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, we do have. We are here for you. If there are any other questions, we'll be happy to answer them, myself, Samuel, and the rest of the team. If that would be all, I give 1 more minute for any other questions we have for us. If you have any issues as well with the application, please do make sure to drop it here. This is the essence of the club. So as a member of this club and as a member of Zedcrest Wealth, we want to make sure that you're able to interact with us as much as possible, just to make sure we attend to any issues and provide resolutions as fast as possible for you. And then most importantly, get feedback for anything that you are unhappy with or anything that you are happy with. Okay. It seems there are no further questions. I just want to say congratulations to our top 3 participants. I want to call your name, so I'm just going to go to the tournament. Congratulations once again for topping the tournament. You won yourself vouchers to use on Child Deck, 15K. Oof, it's a lot. I mean, shared across you 3, but it's still a lot. You can get some burgers, you can get some chicken and chips. If anybody's interested in Boli as well, please, I'll be in your DM. I'll send you a friend request on Zedcrest. Please accept my request. If you can send me some coins, I will appreciate it. But congratulations to 1 minute. Congratulations to Faye, who topped the list, and Momo and Man Wonderful. Thanks once again, everyone. We are grateful for you making out time, and we are excited to see you at the next Digital Wealth Club Meetup. As usual, you all know that you are able to reach us on any of our channels. You are able to reach us on the live chats on the application. You're able to reach us via email. You're able to reach us on social media. We are ready and available to attend to any queries, any feedback, or anything you have for us. Thanks, everyone, once again. And Peter, yes, the session would be available for you to watch once again on YouTube. So for every meetup that we have, you will be able to access it on YouTube, and also an email will be sent to that effect. In addition to this, we'll also send an email for you to rate today's meetup. What are the things you think we did right? What are the things you think we could do better? Thanks, everyone, once again. Have a great evening.